Hello, I am Dr. Fausto Canales, and along with Dr. Jacob Jurasz, we are pleased to present you our work on evaluating the complementarity between solar, wind, and run-of-river hydro across 7 European countries during the period from 2016 to 2024. Allow me to guide you around our poster presented at the EGU General Assembly 2025. Introduction. Our main objective was to understand how the complementarity metrics between these sources have evolved based on real-world data. Complementarity between renewable sources is one of the main strategies to mitigate the variability inherent to these type of renewables such as wind and solar. By combining technologies with different generation patterns, energy systems can reduce the need for backup and storage, making renewables more reliable. Selected countries. We focused on 7 European countries where consistent hourly data for solar, wind, and run-of-river generation were available for at least 2 of the 3 years under study through the ENTSO-E transparency platform. Methods. In our study, we adopted a framework based on 2 complementarity metrics. The first is the generalization of the stability coefficient developed by Sterl et al. The generalization of the Cstab metric allows us to assess the complementarity between 3 variable renewable energy sources while preserving its original interpretation, measuring how much hybridization can enhance system stability, specifically in terms of increasing the effective capacity factor compared to relying on a single source. In Sterl's original formulation, photovoltaic generation was used as the base source, reflecting the characteristics of their case studies. However, the method itself is flexible and allows different choices depending on the context. In this study, for each country and year, we selected the base renewable using the maximum average annual generation among the 3 options. This one was also the reference for estimating capacity factors, something we acknowledge as a simplification or limitation. The second complementarity metric is the temporal complementarity index, developed by Canales et al. And whose interpretation was revisited by Johnson et al. This metric is based on a combination of correlation coefficients and compromise programming. This table presents a comparison between the 2 complementarity metrics employed in this research. At this point, it is worth mentioning that single metrics often fail to fully capture the complex dynamics and interactions in time series data, particularly in renewable energy contexts. Additionally, to gain further insights into the data series, we assess the occurrence of energy droughts according to the Dunkel-Flaute definition proposed by Savusik et al., which refers to 60-minute periods when both solar and wind output drop below 20% of their average capacity factors. Results and insights. Our key observations include: first, solar energy drove most of the recent renewables expansion. For example, installed solar capacity grew by over 500% in countries like Poland and Portugal between 2016 and 2024. Second, the combined contribution of solar, wind, and run-of-river to electricity load service increased significantly, from about 27% in 2016 to around 37% in 2024 across the countries studied. Third, based on the Cstab interpretation, results indicate that countries with wind-dominated portfolios, such as Germany and Spain, tended to benefit more from renewables complementarity, as their share of load service increased. In contrast, run-of-river dominated countries like France and Italy showed lower complementarity gains. Fourth, the temporal complementarity index showed an upward trend across most countries. This suggests that the ongoing renewable expansions are increasingly benefiting from source complementarity, helping to enhance overall system stability. Fifth, energy droughts remain generally low across the region. Most countries exhibited drought frequencies under 5%, though Italy and Croatia stood up with higher vulnerability, highlighting areas where backup strategies might be needed. 6. Finally, simultaneous droughts affecting solar, wind, and run-of-river generation, extending the definition proposed by Savusik et al., were extremely rare. They only occurred in Portugal, lasting 52 hours in 2016 and 48 hours in 2020. These events underline how rare complete synergy breakdowns are when multiple sources are integrated. In conclusion, the evolution of solar, wind, and run-of-river generation portfolios across these European countries has not only expanded the renewable energy supply, but has also helped illustrate complementarity features. Keep in mind that these power systems include other generation technologies. More details can be found on the ENTSO-E transparency platform. Thank you very much for your attention, and feel free to contact us for further inquiries. The authors would like to acknowledge the support of the ULAM NAVA program and the Polish National Science Center.